welcome back. Or if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Wayne, and I'm playing some more Wurm Online. This is my current obsession. I've been playing this game off and on since 2017, and I'm on the New Harmony server. I just noticed that when I look in this direction, I get a better frame rate than when I look in this direction. Maybe it's because there are so many trees back here. I've been up here on the corner of the upper portion of the highway doing some terraforming, trying to push this dirt back, dig it up, trying to achieve a few things all in one. One, I'm trying to collect dirt because I need a lot of dirt. Two, I'm trying to make this look nicer. Because when you go through this highway and you look down here, you see these really two large bumps of dirt on either side. And you can tell someone just obviously dug a highway right down the middle of all this dirt. And it doesn't look that great. It will function, but I know it can look a little bit better. And since this is in my perimeter, I'm taking a little bit of responsibility for it to make it look nice as well. And at the same time, I'm getting my digging skill up. I'm also getting a little bit of my strength up a little bit. And of course, my shovel skill, which I guess that's not too impressive. But that's really only if you dig in the corners. See, there's a couple of ways you can do this. I don't think it'll let me do it right now because there's a tree here. Nope, there's no option. I can show you with this one. Nope, I can't show you on that one because that's not a flat tile. I'll show you on this one. So here's a flat tile. You can stand on the flat tile and then click the tile next to it, and then you can select level. And this is the fast way of doing it. However, there is no level to pile option, so you collect the dirt in your inventory. But you'll lower both borders until it is eventually flat with the tile that you're on. You just have to make sure that you're dragging your dirt into a nearby pile as you go. Because if you become encumbered, then you'll stop the leveling process. But that's not the ideal way if you're trying to scale up. And I don't know if you earn any skill or not for leveling. I mean, not skill. Well, actually, maybe any skill for leveling. Because I haven't seen any skill ticks happen from leveling. But it will if I go into this corner and dig. I think maybe it's Wurm's way of saying, look, if you want to do this fast, you can use level. But you're not going to get any skill out of it. On the other hand, if you want to use the slower method and dig down each corner of a tile until that tile is at the level or slope you want, then you will also get the skill for it. If anyone knows, let me know. Is there ever a skill tick for leveling? Because I don't think I've ever seen a single skill tick for leveling. So I'll be doing quite a bit of work. Let me remove this. I've also been working on this segment right here. And you can see a bunch of ugly back here. That's because I've been chopping down these invasive orange trees. And I have a lot more to chop down. And I could gather these up. I might. But for now, they're just going to lay there and decay. I'll probably gather them up later. At the very least, I can use them as firewood. So I have this nice little section here with some crops on either side, and then this will be a farmhouse. I know it's really small. It's just a 3-tile L-shaped house. It's actually going to be a guest house, but I'll call it the farmhouse since it's next to these crops. And it'll be minimally invested. Or minimally decorated. I'll have a forge in here, an oven in here, a food storage bin, and a bed. And then there will be a tiny little 2-tile backyard right here. I had to do a lot of surface mining to get this flat. In fact, I had to do surface mining all along here. Surface mining again being when you actually mine down rock surface to get it flat or at the slope you want it. But when you're digging and you hit rock and you realize you can't dig any further, Then you have to go to every corner, dig up every bit of dirt surrounding that corner that you want to mine down. Like, for example, this corner I needed to mine down, and this corner I needed to mine down. So that means all the dirt from all surrounding tiles needed to be removed, and over here as well. And then you mine down the rock using your pickaxe, and then when you're finished, you put the dirt back. It's a process for sure. I had to do all of this over here too. This was a lot of work. And I also had to do surface mining over here in this corner. But I like the look. It's not epic. I know it's pretty small here, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I do have a nice sized deed, but that doesn't mean everything in the deed has to be epic and large. I'm going for cozy. Or at least I'm going to try. It's just the day after I did the how to earn money in Wurm Online video. And oh man, I was so lethargic doing that video. There were so many times I just wanted to stop and maybe take a nap or just go to bed. But I pushed through, I completed it. It was an obligation video, meaning I had already stated that I would do that video. But I do feel... I thought I heard something weird over there. But I do feel more alive today. And I'm actually looking forward to this video for a while now. I've been wanting to do this specific video. And what specific video is that? Well, as you can see in the title, we're taking a tour. We're going to check out the Lakeside Alliance deeds. So you'll see every deed owned by the Alliance members. We have a small alliance here, not too many people in it. But a good number for the size of this lake. I don't know if there are other alliances on this lake or not, but there are other deeds for sure. Now, I could spend a lot of time showing you every deed on this lake, but that's going to be a very long video. So I will show you more in the future, but for this video, we're only going to be looking at the deeds on this side of the lake. Let me pull up the map again. So we're going to look from around here all the way up along here and over to, up to here. We're going to look at all of the deeds along here. Ordinarily, you might expect to see maybe 2 or 3 deeds within an area this size, but because this lake is so close to the starter town, and because this lake really stands out, it has attracted a lot of attention. If you want to live on this lake, it's too late. You're going to have to find another spot. There's literally no spaces between the deeds around here to drop another deed. And you wouldn't want to anyway. Check out my other video on all about deeds, and you'll understand why. But before we start this tour, I need to get some food. I already lost a fat level in another video because I wasn't paying attention. Do I have some food cooked in here already? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, look, it's a full meal. Lucky me. Doesn't seem to be going up much. I don't know. Not that I need this affinity or want it, but I'm just curious to see. As you can see, I do have some CCFP. 2 calories, 0 fats, 0 carbs, 61 protein, going up a little bit with this meal. I can get my fats up to about 50% if I cook the right stuff with the right QL. But this is okay. So let me eat as much as I can, and then I'll drink some of this water right after. You can walk and eat at the same time, but I'm eating directly out of the container in the oven. And it looks like I ate all of it. But that should be enough to get me through this video without losing a fat layer. So let's go ahead and start. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll head this way first, and we'll head up. And we'll look at some stuff up there. You're going to get to see some of the progress. Keep in mind, it's been roughly 3 weeks now since this server launched. So this is everything you see. Well, almost everything you see is about three weeks of effort. But of course, some people are logged in more often than others and for longer periods of time. And some deeds also have more people within the village. Some of them are actual villages with villagers, and some of them are just owned by a single person and with just a single player. Although you can have alts, and if you're good at managing your alts, you might be able to get a lot done as well. That's Leafy. Leafy is excellent at managing his alts while playing, so you're going to see some pretty good progress there. Oh, you know what? Before we start the tour, I wanted to comment about these pins. In a couple of videos back, I mentioned that these guys are just trampling the dirt all the time. It seemed pretty extreme to the point that I was wondering if the conditions on Harmony were different than some of the other servers, because I did not experience this type of packing on Xanadu. So I posted on the community forums and I got some answers, and it really makes a lot of sense now in hindsight. So let me explain what was happening, and maybe this will help you too. So first of all, understand that grass can get packed as a result of the animals moving around on that tile, and also as a result of the animals grazing on that tile. In addition to those two causes, there are also some additional contributing factors that can make this happen more often. The first, and this seems so obvious now in hindsight, the first is if the animals aren't fat. Because once they get fat, they start eating less. And as you can see, I think all of these guys are fat now. Even the deer is fat. Maybe these guys aren't fat yet. The young lambs, they're probably eating a lot. And of course, they're not going to be able to eat the clay over here. So once all of the animals in your pen get fat, you're going to see a lot less trampling going on. The other contributing factor is how old the grass is. If you just planted the grass, which I had done as soon as I built the pen and then pulled the animals in, then you have freshly sown grass and it's thin. It's going to be a lot easier for it to be grazed over or trampled when the animals walk. And the third contributing factor is the fear factor among the animals. As mentioned, the grass can get packed just from the animals walking on that tile. But some animals are frightened of you, and when you get near to them, they'll walk some more, thus contributing to the possibility of packing that grass down to dirt again. Now, this only seems to happen with the female cows and the female sheep. The rams and the bulls aren't frightened of you, so they won't walk away when you get near. This is why when you breed, by the way, you put the lead on the female and you lead the female to the male. Because if you try to lead the male to the female, by the time you reach her, there's a good chance she's walking away from you. So I'll demonstrate right now with her. I think she'll be affected because she's on this tile. So I'll walk up here to the fence, and you can see her walk away. Or she may not walk away, I've noticed. They just walk, usually in whatever direction they're pointed. It's just that they're nervous, I guess. So your presence just makes them move. And I don't know if this lamb, I don't know if this is a male or a female on this lamb right here. Yeah, and I'm not close enough to her. I think she's just far enough over to be nervous by my presence. And of course, the ram won't move, but we might be able to do it with this cow. It looks like just her front legs are in this tile. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I think we're too far away in this case. The horses aren't frightened, whether they're male or female. They'll just stay. They won't stay put because all animals still randomly wander around. But they won't wander around when you get near to them. This female cow right here will definitely move. So the females are afraid of you, and this bull will just stand here. He'll hold his ground. He's daring me. I got horns, buddy. You want to try to scare me? Go right ahead. Anyway, so those are the two causes and the contributing factors. I did notice just by them getting fat helped a lot. And in fact, this morning when I woke up, I came in before work and there was only one packed tile from overnight. It was one of these. So I replanted, and it's now going on, let's see, it's about 6:30 p.m., and they haven't packed a single tile all day. So that's pretty cool. And the grass is growing naturally out here as well, and up here on this hill, pretty soon it will be full, and I'll probably grow some trees out here. It'll look very natural. This won't all just be open like this. It'll look kind of forested and cozy. So I did some work on this highway too. We're going to run up to Hero. His will be the first deed we see, aside from my own. And I wasn't really happy with what it was looking like over here. All of it was paved, and it just looked a little off. So I just did one of these things where you just pave the corner, and then you get this angle going on. And then I dropped some dirt over here. I've contributed very little dirt to the highway effort, to be honest, except for on my own deed. And in that case, I've dug up more dirt than I've used. I've been a bit greedy with it, but that's because I know I'm going to need a lot of dirt. Here's Hero's deed. As you can see, he's going for an epic look here. I can only imagine what this is going to look like when he's completely done. Let me turn off this so we can get a better view. It's going to be pretty amazing. He's done all this part of the highway on his own deed here, and also over here wrapped around the guard tower. And we'll walk up. I don't think he'll mind if we walk up and take a peek. He's been doing a ton of surface mining. In fact, he has inspired me to do surface mining, because on Xanadu, I never really did do any surface mining. I just kind of felt it to be too time consuming and annoying. But seeing all of the work that he's been putting in really just inspired me. You can see over here, I have some before shots from before he even moved in. Not a shot, but from a video. I might see if I can find that, and then I'll upload it to something like Imgur, and then I'll drop a link to it as a comment in this video, assuming I can find it. And then you can see what this looked like before he's done all this. But all of this was all rock. This is like really rock surface. And you can see here, it's a little bit obvious here, he's been surface mining. The thing with surface mining too is it's not like digging. When you go to a corner of rock and pull out your pickaxe and start mining that corner, there's no guarantee that it will lower during that action. There's only a chance that it will lower. So you have to just keep on trying over and over again until finally you have it at the level you want. He also is in dire need of lots of dirt. And you can see he's already used a lot. I'm going to put climb on because I'm kind of nervous right now in case I fall. Look how extreme this slope is. Pretty steep. I did fall the other day, and it was just over here, like from here to here, and I broke my leg. Imagine this. I'd probably have a severe injury. Would need not only cotton, but I'd probably need a healing cover as well. And I'm not going to tell you. I know what his plans are, but I'm not going to mention any of that. I don't want to encroach too much. But as you can see, he's done a lot. This was actually a really small area at first, and he's managed to get quite a bit of space out of it. I'm really impressed. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think this is probably the best location on the lake, probably. I know it's heavily opinion-based, but look, he has a nook all to himself, surrounded by mountains. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Can't wait to see what it's going to look like when he's all done. Now you can see a deed over here. We're not going to walk over there in this video, but there is a husband and wife team back here, and I think they might also own this peninsula here. I'm not sure. I know quite a few people have tossed up second deeds, and I don't know if for sure if that's then. Look at this whole area I think needs to be cleaned up too. This either needs to be mined down, this highway needs to be hammered out so it's a little more accurate. This is kind of interesting how there's this big section here. This obviously is not needed for the highway unless it's just going to be a right angle highway, in which case it could be used. I'm not sure. I haven't really contributed much at all to this section of the highway. You can see it's an early rendering of it right now. I'm trying to see if we can see the other big deed. There's a pretty big deed back here. And you can see they have, looks like a slate road leading down to the water. They're probably going to have some docks over there. But we'll look at that some other time. Look at this. There are something like maybe 5 or 6 of these all along this beach. Somehow people got it into the idea to go to, the most obvious spot on the, not the most obvious, but the most visible spot on the beach and dig a tunnel. And everybody just thought that they could just tunnel in and find iron right there and then build something. I'm not sure why. Actually, I think I do know why. I think some people that were talking about their plans before the launch mentioned going and tunneling in to create a mine and then building a rowboat or something like that. And so a lot of people did it. And the result is there's a lot of ugly. As a matter of fact, look over here. 3 mines. Each one of these mine entrances all lead to one big area that's mined out in there. You don't need to do that. You don't need to create all this ugly. You only need one mine entrance, and then you mine out everything in there. You don't just move over 2 tiles and then go in again. Or, 10 or 7 tiles or however far this is. You only need the one entrance. But a lot of people have been doing this, and so there's a lot of ugly. I just call it ugly. There's also a mine right up here. There's also, we're probably going to see it. Maybe not. I'm just going to go a little bit further here, and I'll mention this area. So this used to be a deed that somebody had, and you can see a mine up here. I think that gate opens for me. I'm not sure who put that gate up, or if it doesn't have perms, or what's going on with it. But maybe they were planning to mine all of this rock surface down so it was flat. But there's not a lot of room here. This is like a real rough area. Look at all the rock. So there was a guy that had a deed here. His name is Bear. That's not his full name, but we just called him Bear. And he had this little deed going, and it just got worse and worse with all the rock, and he gave up. But look at how small this area is. I wouldn't claim here. But this was one of the first spots you encounter. And this direction is from Heartland. So people would walk down here, hit the lake, and then walk either this way or walk that way. It was their first big decision. Which side of the lake do I want to look at? And both sides of the lake are pretty much full right there. You can also see some stuff going on over there. And there's also some stuff going on over here. And there's a deed up there. There's also a deed right over... Wait, is it right over this spot? No, it's actually right over this spot. And you can see some effort on the highway being made there as well. And there's actually a really large deed. I can't remember if it's here or over here. It doesn't appear to be rendering right now. I think it might be over here. But I'm not going to walk in that direction because we still have a ways to go. And that's not this side of the lake. This is at the upper end of the lake. But yes, this was deeded. And I guess he went to live near some friends that had a deed further north on the island. So really only got a good look at one deed so far, Heroes. I'll walk back to my deed and I'll warp there, and then we'll take a look at some more deeds. There is plenty more to look at. Okay, we're back at Heroes. I just went ahead and unpaused so you can see what it looks like from this angle. I'm not going to stop though. I'm just going to keep walking. Yeah, it's already looking pretty epic. Pretty amazing. Okay, we're going to warp through my deed. Oh, I should mention that Hero did start on day 1 when the server launched. What was that? July 24th, I think. And I actually remember seeing him early on during my trip down here in the big forest between Heartland and this lake. But I didn't realize until later when I went back and looked at an earlier video and saw his name in local, which is kind of funny. Okay, now we're here up on my upper perimeter, or the upper highway, and right back here is a deed owned by another alliance mate. His name is Kris, and he has this lonely little road going back here. There's very little space between his deed and mine. There's no space in here. Very little wiggle room. So if you were thinking that you wanted to come and place a deed in these woods, you wouldn't be able to. And he's been working on this 3-story. I think he may be the only one now that has a 3-story house. And he also has this tool shed that he built. And he has a brand new fawn over here. The golden blonde, I think they're called. It's the first one of this type I've seen on the Harmony server. Pretty cool. I'm not going to nose around too much, but I'll come up here and you can kind of get a view of it. He was just working on this earlier, and I don't think he's online right now, but he has what I would call a humble deed. He could, even though he couldn't really expand that far much, he could expand in this direction a little bit, and also in this direction. But I think for now, I think he's content with what he has for now. But that may change in the future. Oh, look, there's an oak tree over there. Oaks are in season right now. You can get acorns from them. RNG is still a factor. This is pretty cool. He has an interesting story, or at least I think it's interesting. Kris was originally, I think, like maybe over here or something. He actually spawned in Harmony Bay, and he had some difficulty getting a deed going, and I guess he settled one, but I guess he got pushed out, and he was told specifically to come up here and place a deed. Not because there was space available, but because some person down here just randomly picked a grid on the map and said, go over there. Which, in my opinion, is pretty rude. It's rude to just sort of send people to some random spot and then feed them a lie about how, all that space is available. So, of course, he gets over here and there's no space available except back here in this corner. And someone else was already over here. Let me get through this area and I'll show you. If I can find it. It's over here somewhere. Oh, he's got a well. I didn't recognize that. There it is. This guy had an off-deed build over here that he put up. Of course, the game prefers people with deeds. So since that guy hadn't deeded, then Kris was able to come over here and grab this spot. And so he did. And I don't think this guy's been back. I guess he was just trying out the game. And I guess he decided that it wasn't for him. So this is Kris. And he likes being in the woods. He likes the forest. But I think he has plans for some ships too. And he's close enough to the water to where he can do that. There's some junk around here. Looks like he's been chopping. That's a big pile of scrap wood right there. I don't know if he intends to put in another row for as part of the payment, so he's actually touching the highway, or if he just wants a single road that connects to the highway. But time will tell. As long as we're here, before we get to the next deed, let me show you one little thing here on the highway. There's a speed bump right here. You may notice that this is all flat. except for this spot right here. And if you weren't familiar with rock surfaces, you might wonder, what's going on here? Why would you do that? You're totally disturbing my OCD. Just please dig up those 3 slopes so it's all flat, but you couldn't do it. I have my shovel equipped already, and if I go up here and start to dig, then I get that message. You cannot dig in the solid rock. So that means in order to fix this tiny little 3-slope speed bump, I have to remove all of the dirt from this tile, this tile, this tile, and this tile, and then I can go in here and pick that down 3-slope and then put all the dirt back. And by the way, this is a lot of dirt here. It's not going to be, well, it is a small job in terms of the surface mining that a lot of people have done, but just for 3-slope, it's a bit ridiculous. Oh, what time is it? I think the sun is to my right. I think the sun is getting closer to setting. I need to get a move on here before it turns dark, because if it turns dark, then I have to wait forever for it to become light again so I can continue the video. So this is Leafy's deed, and this looks way different. I can't believe how much area he's flattened, and he's also had to do a ton of had a little bit of lag there. He's also had to do a ton of surface mining, and I know he did over here. I came down here one day, and he had a giant crater here because he needed to surface mine. And I think he's been surface mining back here as well, all along where you see this rock surface, so he can get some more flat land. And look how many crops he has. This is huge. A lot of crops here. Imagine how much time it takes just to tend that, even if you just tended it once per day. But he has several alts, and he's really good at managing his alts. And here he has a view, a nice view of the lake. Actually, I should turn the UI off again. He's got himself a lonely little rowboat down here. I'm sure he's going to have some fancy docks down here, because it looks like he's already fancy. Look, he's got slate brick and marble already. Another epic deed. And he's already done so much work. I would say most of his, just by looking at this, I would say most of his time has been spent terraforming. And look at how perfectly that highway connects between our deeds. And it doesn't have to run along the beach. So many people try to get those highways on the beach, and then by doing that you kind of spoil your view. So this is a nice unspoiled view when the highway is here, but you have to be willing for the highway to go through your deed, and some people are not willing for that. He's got just a couple of charcoal piles going right now. I'm not going to warp this time since I haven't been down here before on video. I'll just keep going. I'm going to skip over here, though. And again, look. So many crops. So many crops. He could build himself a cotton castle out of all this, if there were such a thing. And look, you can see how much terraforming he's done by looking at the slope over here, all along here. This is a lot of terraforming. A ton of terraforming. And I'm not sure whose tent this is. I think this was someone that plopped down a tent and they never came back. And now it's deeded over. And his deed runs all the way over here beyond this highway. This is pretty much his private part of the highway. Or his part of the highway, I guess you could say. So that's Leafy. So we have Hero, myself, Kris, and then Leafy. And this is still his deed here too. There's a deed here, but this guy isn't with us. In fact, he's not exactly the most polite individual. I'm not going to turn on my user interface just in case he's here. I don't want to do the name and shame thing. But he hasn't touched this for like 2.5 weeks. And then all of a sudden, he just kicked it into high gear and did all of this in just a few days, which is a lot. He's reached stone, as you can see here, or rock surface. I don't know if he's planning to surface mine that or what. But you can see he's planning to connect to the highway here. But he's I don't know how to put it. He himself has described himself as old and angry. And he's definitely demonstrated that with his words in local. And this used to be Rilo's deed right here. But she has left this deed. And the reason being due to issues with this guy down here, which I won't get into. But you can see she was set up fairly well here. I think some of this is already decaying. Probably because there was some stuff built with lower quality, and now they're just no longer on a deed. So this used to be a deed. Actually, it still is a deed. It now belongs to Leafy because he's expanded that far. I think Leafy currently has the largest deed, but within the alliance. And then you can see there's a mine up here. This is now an alliance mine. And then further on, I had a feeling this was going to look like this because he mentioned the other day that he was going to start clear cutting all these trees, and he is indeed doing it. And this is the right way to do clear cutting, on your own deed or next to your own deed, not on someone else's perimeter or near their deed, but like this, in your own backyard. And this is Savatos or Savatos. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Maybe he'll watch one of these videos and tell me. And he's got a nice little mine up here. He's got a guard tower. Look, he already has bison. Ain't it cool? That's a reference to an old movie, by the way. John Travolta says, ain't it cool? Oh, what movie was that? Shoot, it's going to bug me. Had Christian Slater in it. And I think her name is Jennifer Mathis. Oh, this is going to bug me. Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow. If you've never seen this movie, then you should find it tonight and watch it. Look at all of the animals he has in here. He's got a little baby foal right there. Oh, he has a black sheep. That lucky devil. And he has another bison over here. This is cute. I like the way this looks cozy to me, and I love the cozy look. I like the cozy look more than the epic look because it just feels more comfortable in my opinion. But this is nice. And he's got his crops over there. And yes, it's a mess here now, but that's kind of the way it is for a lot of folks when they're first starting out. He's getting himself organized. And I think he and I are the only ones. Oh, actually, nope, he does have a house. That means I'm the only one that doesn't have a house. Broken Arrow. Check out that movie. You know what's interesting about that movie is Christian Slater and that woman. Oh, man, it's going to... I don't think it's Jennifer Mathis. Samantha Mathis. I think that's her name. But they were both in another movie when they were younger called Pump Up the Volume. And it's also a really great movie. You should watch both of them. I guess they were in the same movie together because someone recognized that they have great synergy or chemistry or whatever you want to call it. I just want to see who's in local here. Oh, I think that's someone from Anor. I haven't really spoken with those guys yet. And here we have Rilo's deed. She has only been here for a few days. And I can't believe how much work she's managed to get done. Now, there was a small area here that was flattened. I think it was like from maybe here to maybe here. And it didn't go back this far. It was only like maybe 4, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe to there. Actually, I think it was 4 tiles and then some of this. So it was pretty small, and she's gone all the way over to here, and she's got herself some pins up here. And look, she has a black horse. She's lucky too. Some of these people are getting so lucky on these horses. The bison as well. A nice size pin. I love the free range pins. Oh, what is this over here? Let me go take a peek. Is that a scoobod? Oh, I think it is. I believe this is the scoobod pinto. Oh, it's a little foal. Look at that little guy. Let me see if I can examine from here. Oh no, the piebald. There's the scoobald and the piebald. I think the scoobald is brownish and this one is blackish. Very nice. Anyway, so as I was saying, she has only been at this for a few, I think maybe 4 days, maybe 5 days max. So considering a lot of people, such as myself, have been sitting on my deed for 3 weeks now, it's pretty amazing to see how much she's managed to get done in just a few days. And she has a house too. Even though she's only been here a few days, I'm the only one in the Alliance without a house. How sad for me. And I love this open design now. This feels so nice. And when you're in here working with your shops or whatever you have in here, look at what a great view you have from inside. You don't have to go over here to see. You just have a nice view. It's pretty awesome. I kind of love it. I don't know if this will be here forever or if she will change it or if this is temporary or what, but it's pretty awesome right where it is. And I like how she did these. I think this is the left arch. Will it tell me if I examine? Yeah, wooden right arch, and then this will be wooden left arch. So by doing it, she has this nice big open area. I love it. I've screenshotted it before as inspiration for something that I might build. And then she has all this down here as well. There's a little meditation spot over here, by the way. Path of Love. This was all worked out by Savatos. He came down here. This was before Rilo had moved in. And he came down here and he figured this system out to create a Path of Love tile for meditation. You can wiki that. And it goes all the way down here, and she's got her mine right here, which is perfectly above the water level. And look, due to the way she's situated the mine, she is set up perfectly to mine right out underneath. She can mine out everything right directly underneath her deed. In essence, doubling the amount of surface space she has for her deed, because you can always put stuff in your mine as well. You just have to remember to reinforce the walls with support beams. But you can construct buildings in a mine. You can place large planters in a mine and grow crops. Oh, it's getting darker. See, it's getting close to sunset. I'm going to go a little bit further so you can see another deed down here. Even though they're not part of the Alliance, this deed down here it's a village. And what I mean by village, meaning there are multiple people that work on this deed. Actually, okay, no one said anything in local. I don't want to be rude, so I try to check local, even though I have the user interface turned off. I'm not sure how many people are here. I'm guessing maybe around a dozen. And they've been doing quite a lot of work. As you can see, they're connected to the highway as well. So as I mentioned in a few videos back, this highway goes all the way down, and I was not lying. Already have a good highway system built. We're not connected to the Heartland yet. There's still a bit of work to be done, but we're getting there. This is a really cute looking pin. I have noticed sort of a major change here. These guys, I remember checking them out on the first day. And then I came down a few days later and they had already built this and this. And they also had a very large pen, and there were probably already 20 horses in there. So they were running around, not wasting any time grabbing farm animals and horses, and they were already breeding them. But now I don't really see any, and I wonder what happened, because I know it's a group effort here. I haven't really spoken to anyone here, but I wonder if maybe the individual that wanted to do all of the livestock, if maybe they quit already. Or what? I don't know what happened. And I'm told by a couple of alliance mates that there's a few people on vacation right now. But this is, I think it's Anor. I don't know how they're pronouncing it, but within the village of Anor. Oh, and an alliance mate just popped on too. So, from all that you just saw, from the very west end of the lake to this far east end of the lake, there isn't a single spot with on the lake shore to place a deed. It's all claimed, and there's no room between deeds. And that's covered in my All About Deeds video. It explains the minimum amount of space that must exist between deeds, and there's no space. You can see the highway continues on up here. I'm not sure what they're planning here. Are there more deeds beyond this? Yes, there is. There's a deed just beyond these trees up here in the desert. Down here, there's a deed between here, from very close to here. There's also no room to deed there. Let me see if I can go up here. Even though we can't see these deeds, at least we can get maybe a little bit of elevation. Maybe just a little bit. I think that's a guard right there. But I believe there's a deed token like right over here somewhere. And then there's another one right down here on this little part of the land that juts out. And there's also no room. Oh, let me, because I'm standing right here looking in his general direction.
How are you?
So he's probably thinking, what do you do, man? What are you doing, man? You've just been wandering around my deed for 10 minutes and you don't even say hi to me? I guess I was kind of rude. Maybe, you know what I'll do? I'll put his name as a tag in this video, and then I'll just see if he happens to notice. Or maybe I'll send him a link and I'll say, hey, just so you know, I wasn't being rude, or at least I wasn't trying to be rude. Let me go over here and see if we can get another vantage. Yeah, you can't really see anything built, but there is another deed here. And they have a building and a few tents. There's actually 3 tents there, and they also have a guard tower. Is that I can't tell what that is. It looks a little too large to be a guard, but maybe it is. And then as you keep on going, there's another deed and another deed. And I'll show you how far I've gone here. I have walked from here all the way to here, obviously, a few times, and also via cart. But I've also been all along here and around here. And all along here, up here, around this corner, and just around this little inlet to this spot right here. And that's as far as I've been on this side of the lake. I've also been in other directions, but I've gone as far as this. And by the way, there's already some drama. Someone up here is building a land bridge. A land bridge in Wurm Online, which is kind of funny because it's Wurm Online and you have to consider people that you might be blocking off from the ocean by doing that. I've never seen a land bridge in Wurm Online unless it was just like a really small one, like with a really small, maybe something like a really small lake. Do you even call this a lake? Maybe it's more like a pond, or maybe something like this over here for convenience. But you're not blocking anyone by doing that. What you do when you want to get from point A to point B, for example, I'm not saying this is where the land bridge is. I'm just using this as an example. You build a proper bridge. That way boats can sail under it to get back and forth. But if you do a land bridge, you have to also include a canal so boats can get through it. I've already spoken with 2 mods about this to get a feel for what to do if they decide not to cooperate in a way that won't anger everyone here. And one of them suggested that it might be an issue in which a GM would have to intervene. I have nothing to do with it, though. It's actually someone down here in Anor that's been talking to them. So as long as that's the case, I'm not going to chime in. because you know how it is. One person's already handling it, and then someone else jumps in, and then it gets bad. So I'm not going to do that. I am a bit disappointed, though, because from what I've heard from my alliance mates is that there are talks going on. And in my opinion, if you're doing something like that and someone says, hey, what you're doing is actually going to block everyone off in this lake, it's not something that you would discuss, in my opinion. In my opinion, you would react with something like, oh, shoot, okay, yeah, I didn't even notice. Okay, what can we do? Do we do a bridge? Do we do a canal? But that didn't happen. Instead, it was more along the lines of, well, let's talk about it. Or at least that's what I'm hearing. This is secondhand information. I could be wrong. And you know how secondhand information is. It's not always accurate. Oh, look, the sun is about to set. Where should I be for the sunset? I guess I'll be right here. Let's see, 50 minutes. Look at that. I kept it under an hour. You can imagine if I decided to do the entire lake. Probably be about at least 2 hours. And, I wanted to mention one thing. When I just ran this route the last time, it was just yesterday, as a matter of fact, and there's no room here for deeds in between, not along the shore. Maybe there's something, like back here, and then maybe you're being close to the water. I don't know. Here, no, because it's just a giant mountain back here. Here, actually, yes, I do think there's some space maybe back here in this area. So you're sort of near the water. Not over here. This entire section is taken. It's a huge deed. And that's the husband and wife team that I mentioned. They plan to have a hub here as well for anyone that wants to bring a merchant. So if anyone is watching this video and you're on the lake and you're thinking about a community hub for everyone on the lake, maybe here. I haven't really spoken that much with them. I don't know if it's a good idea yet. I don't know if they plan to be around for a long time, but it's something to consider. But the thing that I really wanted to mention is the further you walk in this direction, the greater the space becomes between deeds. In fact, along most of this area right here that I walked, I saw something familiar that I've seen on the older servers, 50 tiles between each deed. So they're definitely honoring that sort of courteous standard here. Here, it's a different story. You can't really expect to have 50 tiles between deeds here because it's a cool lake. It's an actual lake, even though it's connected to the ocean. If you drink from this water, it's fresh water. It's not salt water. Whereas if you're up here and you drink from the water, you're going to get salt water. Not that it matters that much, but for some people it matters. And due to the fact that it's so close to Heartland, people they want to be close to a major town, perhaps for trading or maybe for using the mailbox or maybe for being close to a wagoner. So you don't have to hire a wagoner for your own deed. You can just use the one that's here as long as you're connected to the highway. Now, I haven't really gone beyond this. I've been all over here and I've been around here and I've been around here, but I haven't gone past around this spot and continued along the coast yet. I'm hearing people say that although 80% of the land is wilds, most of the people that have settled are along the coast and also internal shoreline, like here, for example. Here, imagine how many people are here. I don't know, but I'm just thinking that there must be a ton of people here. Simply because Harmony Bay is right here. And I didn't spawn in Harmony Bay, I spawned in Heartland. And I didn't really know where the starter towns were going to be. I don't know if they ever released that before the game was released. I know they released this map the night or the day before release, but I don't recall seeing spawn locations. But I imagine since this is actually on this, is this a lake? There's an inlet here. I'm guessing this is a lake and that this is the inlet. So if you're here, you're probably drinking salt water, And if you're here, you're probably drinking fresh water. If you're in that area, maybe you can let me know. I'm just curious. And you know there's going to be someone here too. But I imagine that all of this, it's probably the same story here as it is for here. It's probably all taken up. And someone mentioned to me that this mountain range, even though it doesn't look as extreme as, like, say, this, but apparently this mountain range is huge, as well as this lake right here, which I'm told is, even though it doesn't look like there's a lot of space across here, due to the fact that it's so long, it's a pretty large lake. But I don't know. I don't know who's living here. I imagine quite a few people, and I imagine someone right here, and I imagine people digging a canal here for ocean access. That's what I imagine. All right. I think I'm going to leave it there. It's 55 minutes. That'll keep this under 1 hour. I do plan to do more tours in the future, and I'll do another tour, at least one or maybe a few, for these deeds along the lakeside. This is the Lakeside Alliance, by the way. And so I'll definitely do tours of Alliance mates. I did give them a little bit of warning. I let them know that I was going to be nosing around their deeds before I did this, and no one seemed to protest at all. So I didn't think they would mind. I wouldn't normally just go into a random deed and spend this much time in it just looking around, because I would consider that maybe a bit rude. But they are Alliance mates, and I don't think they mind. And that's it. Maybe I'll get my own house up one of these days. At least a guest house. Maybe by this weekend I'll have a guest house up, and I can live in there for a while. What is that? Is that a seal? I guess it would help if I closed the map. Yep, an old seal. All right, I've delayed long enough. That's it. Thanks a lot for watching. This was a tour of this side of the lake nearest to Heartland, and I still have quite a few things that I want to do in terms of recording videos, so I'm still moving forward. You can still expect to see some more videos from me. And thanks a lot for watching, and take care.